is going to happen. Hi everyone, this is Darkstorm Comic Reviews here. Today I thought we'd take a look at the Image Comics / Wildstorm Productions miniseries, The Kindred. Now, I bet looking at these characters, they look kind of familiar, and that's because I have done reviews on them before. I did a Grifter miniseries review of the first 6 issues of Grifter's first miniseries, and then I did a Backlash Spider-Man crossover review where Backlash appeared with Spider-Man in a 2-issue crossover titled Backlash Spider-Man. And basically, The Kindred is a 4-part miniseries that stars these 2 characters. I really like it. I think it's a really good miniseries, and I thought I would just go ahead and talk about it, you know? So, and then we got this thing in the back here, so that's pretty cool. And we're going to find out more about that. So anyways, got this cool poster right here. Got Backlash over here. It's pretty cool. Pretty. You got Grifter with his 2 weapons here. You got Backlash with his psionic whip here. It's pretty cool. Pretty neat little poster. They used to do this a lot back in 90s comics. They would have like these little in-drawn posters. It's pretty cool. But yeah, and then we got the people who wrote the book too. Jim Lee Booth. Yeah, but let's get on to our story. So, story starts off, we see this guy walking through, or our location is New York City. We see this guy walking to his friend's house, knocks on the door, and basically this guy right here, this older guy, his name is Colonel Mark Sladen, with his superhero alias being Backlash. And what Backlash is doing here, he's going to his friend's place because he seeks help. And basically why he seeks help is because, basically Backlash works for this United Nations superhero team called Stormwatch. And Stormwatch, as I just mentioned, is a United Nations superhero team, and they work aboard this space station called Skywatch. And basically what happened is that a few Daemonites, an alien race in the Image Wildstorm universe, kind of broke into Skywatch and started messing with everybody, like taking control of people's minds and brainwashing them and stuff. And basically, because that's their power. The Daemonites are an alien race that can take over people's minds. They can brainwash them. They can take control of their minds and do what they want with them, basically. So basically what happened is that the Daemonites broke aboard Skywatch. They caused havoc, and one of those people that they took control of in Skywatch was a Stormwatch team member named Diana Lassaway, who also happens to be Backlash's girlfriend. And when the Daemonite took control of Diana Lassaway, it stole a piece of her mind. Like it took control of her and made her do stuff. But the Daemonite also took a chunk of her mind and then just fled to Earth. So Backlash basically wants revenge. He's very angry, and because the Daemonite also took a chunk of his girlfriend's mind with him, that left Backlash's girlfriend in a coma, and she's in a coma aboard Skywatch. So in order to restore her fully, Backlash has to find that Daemonite alien and find a way to restore the piece of her mind that's missing because, the Daemonite stole it. So that's basically what's going on here. But just in case my words screwed it up, here's the written explanation. But yeah, that's basically what's happening. And so basically Backlash is trying to get in. No one opens the door. But then we have this cool scene where Backlash knocking on the door here. It's pretty cool. Backlash does this thing where he transform. One of Backlash's abilities is that he can transform into smoke, and so we get to see that here. You see all this mist and stuff, and you're thinking, oh, it's the wind or something like that, but no, not really. One of Backlash's abilities is that he can transform into mist. So he kind of just mists his way into his friend Jack Rhodes' apartment building, and he ends up here. Basically, what he's saying is. Basically, it comes down to Backlash. It's like, hey, Jack, I need your help. I need to find out more about the Daemonite who took a part of my girlfriend's brain. She's in a coma aboard Skywatch, and I want to restore her. Can you help me out? And basically that's what he's telling him right there. But then we see a couple of guys in the background. Backlash is, of course, a little nervous. Well, not nervous. He doesn't really get nervous, but like he's like, oh, something's not right here. And then we get this really cool action sequence of Backlash taking on what are known as in the Wildstorm Image universe as the Black Razor. These guys, and they're really cool looking helmets. They're the Black Razor, and it's a really cool scene. Lots of good action. It's pretty cool. Get this cool pose of Backlash here. There's Backlash in his cool costume. He kicks one of them. And then he punches this other guy, which is pretty cool. This other guy tries to attack him. We get a lot of cool action sequences. One guy shoots him in the back. See a little scrape right here. And there's still some more cool action sequences. One guy like kicks him in the chin. It's pretty cool. His friend, who is in a wheelchair, tries to help him, but of course he gets knocked backwards because these guys are like very, very professional and stuff. Of course that makes Backlash mad, so he does this cool move where he hits, see, he's in a wheelchair right here, where he hits the floorboard. He hits the guy in the face. He hits the floorboard, and the floorboard vibrates when he punches it, and then it hits this guy in the head right here. Pretty cool. And then Backlash just starts taking them all down, showing how skilled he is. And then he fires his psionic whip, which I was going to explain. Basically how his, if you see here, it's kind of blurry, but look at this detail in the costume. It's really cool. His hand is lighting up purple, and he's able to fire a purple psionic whip, which is pretty cool. So basically how this works is, how his whips work, is that they're the purple whips are psionic whips. So basically when he thinks about shooting the whips with his mind, basically how his whips work is that he thinks about shooting the whips in his mind, and they materialize in physical form in reality. So when he thinks about shooting the whips, he shoots the whips, basically. And that's kind of how that works. So Backlash can just think about shooting the whips, and the whips just, they do what they need to do. So that's kind of how that works. And the whips are so strong that they knock this guy backwards, even breaking his helmet. Pretty cool picture right here. His mask is all ripped and stuff. And then he's able to choke this guy with a whip. It's pretty cool scene. Pretty cool. Basically what they're saying also, basically what they're telling him is, you know, you gotta come, Black Razor, these guys are like, you gotta come with us. We need to take you back to I.O., which, for those of you who don't know, in the Wildstorm Image universe, that's the International Operations. Basically, I'm not gonna go into full detail, but they're just basically like an organization who, they just oversee a bunch of stuff, basically. And they also founded the Team 7, which Backlash was a part of. And Team 7 was like a team of military soldiers who also had psionic and telepathic abilities. So basically, that's what Team 7 was. It was a group of military guys with psionic and telepathic abilities. And Backlash and Grifter were both a part of that. I mentioned them briefly, I think, in my Grifter miniseries reviews. But basically, they're like, we need to take you back. We need your help with something. Backlash is like, I don't want to do that. I got bigger concerns right now, like saving my girlfriend from being in a coma. And I'm a little. There we go. Let's see what's going on here. Jack's all freaking out, like, no, don't do this. This isn't right. But they take Backlash away. They say, hey, if you come with us, we're going to spare your friend. But of course, that's not what happens. And they kind of lie, and they're about to terminate him. But when all of a sudden, thankfully, Grifter comes in to save the day. See, some shots are kind of sticking out of him here. Kind of hard to see, but you can kind of see it. See a couple bullets fly. It's pretty cool. He takes them out. And who takes them out? Except, of course, Grifter. And we get this, didn't mean to, but we get Grifter, and he's standing there, he has his guns held. He knew something was going on, so he decided to come check it out. He knew Jack was probably in trouble. And this is where we get that really cool shot of Grifter. And, okay, so we cut back, and we see there's a ship in the air. And we see that Backlash is on the table here. He's getting, he's strapped down to a table so he can't escape. The guys are just kind of talking to each other. And Backlash is able to wake up. He whacks one of the guys here. Guy's like, don't do anything or I'll shoot. And then he kind of transforms into mist again. Because, that's one of his powers. Guy's like, don't try anything funny. He transforms into mist and he ends up going on the outside of the ship. Backlash is already... And the Backlash is like, oh, wait, where are we? And this guy named Frank Colby kind of explains what's going on and, like, why they need him. And it's like, hey, come with us. We're going to explain why we want you here. And all that fun stuff. And then we get this cool pinup poster by, I think, the guy who draws Backlash, Brett Booth. He's the one who did the Backlash Spider-Man crossover also. Get this really cool, nice pinup. Pretty cool. I'll try to get more into it. Pretty cool. Some ads here. Come on. Alright, so... And then we go back to where Grifter and Jack are. Jack basically explains that someone tried to open a file. So basically what happened is there was a file that International Operations had called Project Genesis. And Grifter didn't want IO to open it because I guess he didn't want some secrets to be exposed. So we put a virus in the file. So basically, if IO tries to open the Project Genesis file on their computer system, a virus occurs and it shuts down all their systems. So basically Jack is like, okay, well somebody tried to open the file that you put a virus on, the Project Genesis file, but so basically someone tried to open the Project Genesis file, the one that you put a virus on, but it wasn't anybody from IO. It was from somebody else. And Grifter's like, okay, well who could it be? And I'm going to go to the next scene where we see this guy like smashing stuff up. Wrecking everything. This guy all in black, and he's like, she's like, why are you doing this? And he goes, I want revenge on Director Lynch here, this guy right here. He says he will face the wrath of the Kindred. And Lynch is like the director of IO. He's like the head of IO, which again, as I said, international operations, which is like a top secret government like organization, basically. Oh yeah, and this lady is the reason why Cole is joining in on finding out what's happened, because he and her had like a relationship. Her and Grifter had a relationship during his Team 7 days. That's why he's going out to help out and find who took Director Lynch. Yeah, basically that's what this boils down to, is that the guys are like, the people at IO are like, okay, you know, Backlash, we need your help. You know, we don't know who this guy is who kidnapped Director Lynch. The only things that we really know is that he calls himself the Kindred, and that also there was a flower that we found that has a specific pollen type that only originates from an island called Cabalito. So basically, if you help us find or rescue Director Lynch from whoever kidnapped him, this guy, we will give you we will give you full custody of this Damonite alien, so that you can find your girlfriend, basically. So he's like, if you rescue Director Lynch from the guy who kidnapped him, the Kindred, we will give you this Damonite specimen to do research on, so it can help aid you in saving your girlfriend, basically. So this is the Damonite right here. Try to get some better photos for you here. And Grifter is like, thank you, Jack, for all your help. And he's kind of trying to find his way into the facility where Backlash is. So yeah, he's like, you know, if you help us rescue Lynch, we'll give you the Damonite to do research and testing on, so that you can hopefully find your girlfriend or fix her. So Grifter is in here. He's listening to all this conversation. You can already tell that there's some tension between them, because Grifter, you know, he's like, what is this guy doing here? Why is he involved? You know, what's Backlash got to do with this? So they got like a very, very rough past together, which we'll get more into as the miniseries progresses. Backlash is like, fine, I'll do it. If I can save my girlfriend, I'll do it. And he's like, and they're like, good, let's get started. So they're about to leave. Backlash is like, okay, you better not try any tricky stuff on me. And Kobe's like, don't worry, I'm only an advisor. You're the one who's heading this operation. Backlash is leading a Black Ranger strike team, like what we saw earlier in the book. And they're gonna lead, and he's gonna lead that team in order to find Lynch and stop whoever this Kindred claims to be. So we got Grifter here. He finds a way to sneak in on the plane, you know, kind of joking like, you know, these guys are just very unprofessional. He's joking. It's kind of funny because he goes, why am I sneaking aboard? I should have just volunteered for this gig. But it's funny humor. But Backlash is climbing up. Something kind of weird happens to him. And they're like, okay, let's get ready to move out. Let's go. And also, Grifter, it's interesting because he refers to Cabalito as going back to Eden's Gate. So it kind of sets you up for some more interesting stuff later on. And so basically, that's the end of part 1. Really good first introduction issue. I really liked it. I've read this miniseries, I think, at least 3 to 4 times. Really good interactions between the characters. We find out that Grifter and Backlash, through Grifter's dialogue, they don't have the best history together. And it sets up the mystery of who this Kindred guy is, which we'll find out later. And overall, just a good miniseries. I think that's it for issue 1. I think that's it for issue 1, though. I plan on doing the reviews for the other 3. And, yeah, so thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Dark Storm comic reviews out.